I got the case drain hooked up on the brush mower. Let's throw it on the JCB and see if it'll start. Just pulled it up to the shed. Now there's a hole in the side of that motor there that's leaking oil, but we can't see any thread on it. So we hooked it up to the JCB, got the case drain all set up. We're gonna go ahead and fire it up. Well, made a tornado inside the shed. At least it runs. That hole in the side's leaking a little bit. You can see it there.
Is it coming out of the hole though?
Yeah, that's another question. I think so. Wow, that thing keeps running.
Are you wide open?
No, I think. I don't
Turn it
know.
up. Run it.
That's full speed.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, it doesn't really shake it too much. I've never used
Sounds
high
to me
flow
like
anything
it's-
before. That's not even high flow. Yeah, it seems kind of dangerous.
Yep, I like it. Best way to figure out if it works or not, why don't you go and cut that grass and field road.
So I couldn't figure out how to stop the motor from running, so just shut it off, and we're gonna wait for it to stop on its own. Until I've had experience with it, I don't even know how to like shut it down. It says not to reverse flow to the cutter while it's operating. Well, on the joystick on the JCB, I had it pushed all the way forward, and that made it run, and I didn't want to pull back on it. Once it comes to a stop, I'll probably fire it up again. But at least we know it runs. Travis said he thinks that hole in the side of the motor might just be like an emergency drain if for any reason there's built up pressure inside. It could be leaking from there. So
I'm not a professional mechanic, that's
Maybe-
just my 2 cents.
maybe by the time the first video comes out, someone will mention what they think it is. The hole's not leaking at all right now. So I'm gonna give this a try. Part of me wonders if that case drain shouldn't be going where that hole is. You can see that smaller hose on the left, it goes to the top. I'm wondering if maybe that's where it should be. But then again, I don't really know. The operator's manual isn't in there. So we're gonna give it a run. So it would seem to me that as it's set up, I push this forward, it rotates clockwise, and pulling back on it doesn't reverse it. So it doesn't run it in the opposite direction. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the first pass along the field road here, see what happens. It's actually cutting the grass off. Who'd have thunk? Nice. All right, so we just did a little test with the JCB and the mower. So coming over here, some of you may have been asking about, I'm missing a bolt there. Some of you are asking if I could put this on and extend the boom out. Well, the standard auxiliary lines are only available for the mower. So if I wanted to run it, if I wanted to put it over here, I'm pretty sure I could run it as I just did. But you cannot use high flow with the mower and while extending the arm. So we have over here on the JCB, you can see there that we have these hoses, and then we've got the ones on the side. These are the ones that extend out, and then these ones are the high flow. So in the middle here, we've got the case drain, or what should be the case drain. I'm gonna do some looking into this to see if that's where this should be, because it does occasionally leak out of there, and that's where we're getting all of our oil drip. So I'm gonna try to figure out where or what that's supposed to be. So now that I've got it hooked on the top, I can use high flow, which I haven't used yet. I actually had to do some reading into the manual. Yes, I do read the manual. And I had to figure out how to engage the high flow on the JCB because I've never used it before. So we're gonna fire the JCB up. Now over here we've got this hydraulics isolate switch for the auxiliary hydraulics. You actually have to turn that off first before you can engage your high flow. So I was sitting here clicking this, I'm like, why isn't this working? Getting kind of frustrated until I realized that, oh, you have to shut it off first. So now that it's locked out, I can engage the hydraulics there, re-disengage that. So now we should have our high flow. This is going to be a little interesting. That is some high speed. It's hard to believe everything to our left is going to be chain link fence and a field of solar panels. Well, I guess I don't really have to worry too much about T-posts. I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. I unhooked the brush cutter, and as you can see, it's leaking pretty bad there. So this morning, I got a hold of Construction Implements Depot, CID, the manufacturer of this mower, and asked them what this leaking hole is and how do I solve it. So what they told me was that on these older mowers, before they made a design change, there is a weeping hole below the motor to allow any excess oil that escapes through the seal on the inside of the motor to leak out. And if there isn't enough back pressure from the skid loader itself, that it can cause excessive leaking, which is what's happening. So they made a design change, and what they actually recommend is tapping that out and plugging it. So he said that they actually made flanges that go on there with the plug already in them, and they said that it's perfectly fine just to plug it. So we might tap it out. They are working on it right now for me. They might be sending me a new one of those flanges that goes underneath that motor, just in case. So that might be one thing we're going to try to do, to plug that hole up. I don't have the time for it today, but I think that's probably going to be the resolving factor as to why that hole's leaking. I was worried that that was the case drain, then it was put in the wrong spot or something, because it really didn't make sense to me why it was leaking so bad. But it runs really good on the JCB. I'm really excited to get this thing out there, because I walk through the pastures and I can see, you know, there's a spot where I'd love to take the brush cutter in, because the tractor can't get in there and knock out some growing trees. There's a lot of places where we have locust trees growing up, which are the ones with the spines on them, that I'd love to take out. So I haven't gotten the grapple bucket hooked up yet. That's the next thing I'm going to be working on too, once we get the brush mower operational. But it was nice to be able to at least take it out and at least get it running, so I know that it functions, it works, it spins. There's nothing too catastrophically wrong with it. So that's going to be the resolving fix for that hole. We're probably just going to tap it out and put a plug in it, as they recommended. I'm sending him some information on the mower this afternoon, so he can verify that that's what I can do. And they might be sending me a new flange without even me really asking for one. So that's good on CID for resolving that and being quick to fix it. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully I can get the brush mower going before the snow starts flying. I'd love to be able to take it out before harvest and clear some of the brush out for next year. There's a lot of places that I'd love to be able to open up, and that way new growth can begin in the spring. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out all of our other videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, all how farms work. And I'll be sure to keep you updated on the grapple too, as I get that hooked up, just to make sure it works. So see you next time, guys.